see the balloons? Where's the other one? Way, blue and the white. Gosh, they're moving around. I thought they would show up. Crazy. Hi. Okay, so this is a celebratory time. I wanted to share with you so much, not just my book launch, which you've heard about if you've been part of this community. Here's the book cover, When Wisdom Arrives, from Imagined Unworthiness to Freedom. But the balloons are from a book launch party, which you will see more of on Facebook, and maybe more in here too, because I have pictures. But today the balloons they were left over from the launch party, but I want to celebrate my coach, his new book, Sarah Cannell, Thought Leader Academy, 10x your impact and income through your mission and message. And I get to have a small chapter in her book that just got published by Muse Literary. And why am I putting this in Thursday Musings? How many of you are totally comfortable being celebrated? It wasn't me. I had to step into that. How many of you would keep it quiet if you had just a small chapter? I don't even mean a chapter, like 3 pages. I don't know if it's 3 pages or 4 pages, but really something very small in someone else's book. Would you celebrate, bring some balloons on camera? If we're gonna open to what the opposite of unworthiness is, don't you think it's important to receive in a wide open way from life? Let's kind of make these, I wanted to first say thoughts or concepts, but they're so much bigger. They're experiences. Unworthiness is a position in life. It's not just an experience, it's a claiming of something huge, because unworthiness or imagined unworthiness closes off sometimes love, sometimes opportunity. It blocks. It says, I am not worthy, so you have to give me a life that's consistent with my beliefs. People feel crazy if their insides and their outsides don't match. They'd rather feel, it's just a law, they'd rather feel icky and have a kind of desperate, unhappy life, but feel like they knew it, like it's consistent, it matches what I expected, what I believe about myself, what I believe about my past, and what I believe about my future. Does that make sense to you? It's not logical. People think they want love, they want to feel happy, they want more success, more. But when it comes from lack, and you're convinced, I'm convinced of the truth, small t, of our unworthiness or shame, then the laws of physics in the outer world will mirror your beliefs. We've been over this a ton of times, probably go over it each time because we forget. I want to read you a paragraph that might go in yet another book that I've been invited to participate in. It's not yet named, but this is somewhere in the middle. But I wanted to start here. So you know my daughter that passed, her name is Melissa. Melissa and I, plus my mother and her mother, belonged to an unworthiness club. It's not a club we acknowledged. There were no badges. But my mother belonged to that club with her not only her mother, but her grandmother. Because if her grandmother, my mother's mother, my grandmother, it's very confusing, had not felt scared about unworthiness. And if you don't have a belief in unworthiness yourself, you don't worry about it in other people. It's very strange the way that goes. And if you read my book, you read that part about in the memoir where my mother's mother had her run around the streets to lose weight when the Nazis were present. So we all know that's kind of on the crazy side, but we act crazy when we believe in unworthiness. We make decisions and we act small and we close off, right? But what do we close off that's even bigger than unworthiness? I didn't think there was anything bigger than unworthiness. I now do. It's really the same, but it's another form. I believe, like I said at the end of last Thursday musing, I believe that unworthiness leads to not belonging to the self. What do I mean by that? I mean there's self-rejection. It's pure and simple. I don't think I'm good enough in the core of my being. It's beyond what I did and what I felt and how I acted. Yes, I can get down on those, but I keep myself from feeling apart. So we generally think of belonging as the outer group allowing us in. But having spent some time with this idea, I'm noticing that there are not enough signs of kindness and a wish to include us from the outer world to make us feel like we belong when we are into self-rejection. It's almost a cover. We can cover the belief that we're feeling unworthy by thinking somebody else is rejecting us. So what can we do about this? Well, it's not actually a doing. It's a letting go, maybe in a trial basis. What if you had an experiment and the opposite of unworthiness is the oneness of life? In other words, are you breathing? You're alive. You did not create your life, right? You were born and you didn't belong. You came out of your parents, but you belong to something bigger. They don't have the power of life and death. They were blessed with you, or they were cursed with you. But either way, there's something bigger than your parents. And even if you're a nihilist or a non-believer, we can't deny that we belong to life because we're breathing. And so, what if we belong to life and life has its way with us? Did I create all of this with the books and all of that? We've talked about that in these last few videos. I really tried to share that this was something that happened through me. Yes, I was the scribe. It was more than being channeled. I didn't just write down the words that came to me. I collaborated with someone. I took the words and we improved the language. But believe me, I did not want to write a book. So I took the yes. Well, I talked about that in great detail. Let's talk now just for another minute about the power of no. No to the thoughts of unworthiness. If you see it, you feel it, you think it, you believe in it, practice just for an experiment, saying that's a residual of my old beliefs. It comes not just from my family, but from the society that teaches us to improve a self. Be more, think more, do more, have more, succeed more, and you'll be happy. Not so much. It doesn't work out that way. Everybody who's had millions will tell you, yeah, the money's nice, but if you don't do anything with it, it doesn't make you happy. I know if you don't have it, you will believe that it will do that. Just like being thin, if you're fat, is a belief that you'll then like yourself. But believe me, it doesn't work that way. You might fit in, you might be able to belong to a few more things because you look the part. But inside, if we don't say no to that false belief that any being is allowed to choose unworthiness. Yeah, you can choose the feeling and the thought, and you'll have the rebound in the outer life because the matrix life will mirror in the play world your beliefs. But on a philosophical, bigger meta level, wouldn't it be more beneficial to not make the opposite of unworthiness worthiness? That's too limited. You can't stay in happiness, joy, up the ball. If you throw the ball up, it will come down in the outer world. But in the world of belonging to life, that actually goes beyond the body, because science says that energy doesn't die, it just transforms. So I leave you with that. And I ask you to just spend a few minutes every day translating that into your own life. What would it look like? And then don't judge yourself. That has to go too. There has to be a yes to life, a yes to the movement, and a no to the separate self, the belief in unworthiness, the belief in not belonging. You get to belong. Everyone does. Just like the plants and the animals, everything has a role, a place, and it's constantly changing. And what if you open to receive what life wants to give you, and not be saying, no, I'm unworthy. That has to match unhappy experiences. So again, we're not going to the polarity. Things are going to happen in the oneness. There's weather. It's not going to be all up. It's not about all manifestation of the good. It really isn't. People who get a terminal disease or a physical illness are not unworthy or have lower mind consciousness. That's an icky thought that's gone round. And we've had so many false ideas, like the world is flat, or the sun rises and sets, and indeed it does not. So this might be another one of those false beliefs. Bye for now.